created to have some fun together, sharing and singing. So, join and enjoy.
Our love for opera brings us together. Thanks for being with us in this trip.
So he basically really he does whatever he wants. So that's why you think that Rosina's aria has lots of text, when in fact I think it's no more than five sentences for a 5 minutes rendition, right?
But when you face this kind of music, it can be hard to remember so many repetitions and you can get lost. And that's an important point.
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
terrible. You don't know which one of the repetitions are you singing. It feels terrible.
But but you also have to keep in mind that even if you forget what you were about to say, you still have to share with the audience that you are having fun.
Oh, of course, nobody has to notice it.
And as we have that expression that many times the singer is just washando the words because he basically forgot.
Yeah.
And when we like to say that expression, we also have to remember and go back to the kind of voice that you need to have when you are a soprano or a mezzo, and you have to change so fast in both in the rhythm, and then going for a slow and then going again for the rhythm, and thinking what repetition you are in with the words. At some point you usually mess up.
Yeah. And acting, if you are on stage, oh God.
But that's where you have a good group of friends on stage, and that's when they are going to help you with something. And that's why also some people sometimes they like to cut the whole area because it may be way too much. But as you may have noticed on the screen, it is now time to welcome the star of the whole opera. It is in fact El Figaro who gives the name to this opera. Il Barbero di Sevilla, maybe nobody knows, but Il Barbiero is in fact Figaro. And what he's about to sing also doesn't make any sense. So don't try to make any sense out of what he's going to sing. But one thing for sure is that if Rossini hadn't come up with a character like Figaro, this opera would have never been that successful because everything is around Figaro. Once he enters the stage, you usually forget the other characters, except for the time when they are alone. But you know that when Figaro enters the stage, he's going to be doing something. He's a baritone, but he's a very special kind of baritone. Don't think of a baritone like Scarpia. Well, there might be very good singers who can sing both Figaro and Scarpia, but usually they aren't the same type of baritone. You may find baritones who are Verdian baritones and usually do not sing this light Figaro because we go back to that they have to sing very, 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 very fast. And he needs to have a good range of voice, and he has to be funny. So if you can sing Scarpia and look cruel and sing Figaro and look funny,
My respect.
yeah, you are such a great singer. It's not an easy thing to do. That's because you develop two very different characteristics of your voice: lighter sounds, bright sounds, ease of breath, good diaphragm control, brightness in your high notes. You are Figaro. But imagine a Scarpia with that cruel voice trying to sing like that, like in the first
No.
act. It's not going to work.
No.
But and we have to say also that Figaro has been so famous, not even in the opera. you can see, well, Katia shared with me that even the one we call in Spanish El Pájaro Loco or Goody
Goody
Woodpecker,
Woodpecker. Love
he also sings Figaro. Today I was watching on Netflix an Italian series, and it turned out that the cat's name was Figaro. So
Yeah.
while the cat was on the screen, they were playing this Largo al Factotum in the background. So people may have never attended the opera, but they may have heard the Figaro. Figaro, 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 Figaro. Amen. We are going to get there. So let's get started with. Let me see if I can play at least the introduction of it, because for some reason I concentrate better when I listen to music. And also because from the very moment you notice that this music is playing, or that the orchestra is playing, you already know that something very nice is about to happen. So, I think that the version that I have at hand is orchestra. So I will need to stop it after 7 seconds because they will issue us on the copyright. Okay, so only 8 seconds I will try to play. Let me put more volume on it and be very attentive to not exceed those 8 seconds. And that's how it all starts. And it opens saying Largo al factotum della città, which could be like, I think you're a better translator than me. How would you say Largo al factotum della città? Because I know that
It's like
factotum doesn't even have a word in
like
Spanish.
behold, a very important person in the town.
I like that.
Factotum.
The factotum means something like the guy who does everything. I don't think we have
Yeah.
an expression for that in recent Spanish or English. So
We could say in Spanish like milusos.
yeah, sort of milusos. But this is elegant. That's why he's factotum.
Yeah, it sounds much better.
Yeah. So largo al factotum della città largo. And remember that this is just try to picture in your mind that Il Conte d'Almaviva is on a stage and he hears from afar this very nice, bright, cheerful music. And suddenly from the distance comes this guy, this very happy guy saying Largo al factotum della città largo. So you try to picture that with a nice baritone voice, an adequate baritone voice. I cannot think of any at this point, but if you can think of any baritone whose voice you like, try to picture that in your mind. And so
I love myself as a baritone.
we all love ourselves singing Largo al factotum. So you know that you will have to excuse us. Neither Katia or I are baritones, but we enjoy this.
I said the last program that I was going to sing this aria, but I thought that I really sound like Woody Woodpecker. I'll give a try, and you will agree with me. Largo al factotum della città largo. Tra la 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 la, fortunatissimo per verità presto. Tra la 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 la, fortunatissimo per verità, fortunatissimo per verità. Tra la 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 la. And I'm Woody.
But the thing about it is that if we are not baritones, we still can enjoy it.
We'll have to imagine the sound.
Yeah, so try to imagine what we are doing with the adequate voice of a baritone, and la 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 presto bottega che l'alma è già presto, la 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 la. Oh, che bel vivere, che bel piacere per un barbiere di qualità, di qualità. I have to say something here that also even you will notice right ahead, and I am pretty sure that I will mess up with the words also, because I have to sing faster than I can scroll, and since I don't have my written score here, you may have because you sing this kind of music. Sometimes the music or the notes you have to sing are going so fast that you're reading pass the score pass the
Yes,
score.
play a low paper.
Yeah, that's the way it should be done. And I wanted to say that even if there are already many notes, the baritone also like to, baritones can be like sopranos sometimes. And they would take a note out of it, play with it, add an ornament, keep it for longer, give it higher, doing whatever they want. So you may have noticed that the version that you have from your baritone of your preference is different from what is actually written. Sometimes they also like to cut parts.
Yeah.
So at this point, sopranos and divas and baritones are so alike that one cannot tell the difference.
But I would like to add that it is their moment to bright.
It is.
Being honest, again, most of famous arias and most of famous music is written for tenors or sopranos. So in this case, Figaro is the main character, is the star. Why not?
And he knows it. In this case, he knows it because he's introducing himself like, I am the one who is going to resolve everything. So give me some space because I am going to solve your problem. So
he can be just for this time.
And notice now that he's so proud of himself that he says, bravo Figaro, bravo, bravissimo, bravo, bravo. So he's cheering himself. He knows what he's capable of. So why not? And I was telling you that we really don't need to explain many of the expressions here because la 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 la. What does that mean? It just means that Rossini wanted to add something
in every language.
Fortunatissimo per verità. Fortunatissimo per verità, bravo. And then again, la 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 fortunatissimo, fortunatissimo, fortunatissimo per verità. La 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 la. So maybe if you can keep the melody of the whole aria. La 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 la. So it's basically what he's doing for how many times here? A good number of times already. La 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 la. And remember what I told you about Rosina, that he's coming from a very fast pace and then is slowing a little because Rossini wants to slow, and then he goes for pronto for tutto l'anno til giorno sempre d'intorno inger sta miglior cucagna per un barbiere vita più nobile non si dà, and then goes again for la 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 la. So don't try to find any sense in here. It doesn't make sense. He's just having fun. Rassori e pettini, lancete forbici al mio comando, tutto qui sta. Lancete forbici, rassori e pettini al mio comando, tutto qui sta. Bella risorsa, poi del mestiere, con la donetta, col cavaliere, con la donetta, la 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 lena, col cavaliere, la 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 la. Here that I am of course adding a note much longer than written is what baritones usually do, because can you think of them col cavaliere, la 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 la? Of course not, it can be la, it has to be la. Of course, think of a soprano doing it, and you will immediately notice what I am trying to tell you. Okay, a mezzo. Let's say a mezzo, not a soprano. Ah, che bel vivere, che bel piacere per un barbiere di qualità, di qualità. If you notice, this is the second time that he says di qualità. He has already mentioned it in the past. Tutti mi chiedono, tutti mi vogliono, donne e ragazzi, vecchie fanciulle, qua la parrucca, presto la barba, qua la sanguigna, presto il biglietto, tutti mi chiedono, tutti mi vogliono, tutti mi chiedono, tutti mi vogliono, qua la parrucca, presto la barba, presto il biglietto. Hey, here comes the hyper famous phrase of after having said tutti mi vogliono, qua la parrucca, presto la barba, presto il biglietto. Hey, Figaro, 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 Figaro. Ahimè, ahimè, che foglia, ahimè, che foglia. Una alla volta, per carità, per carità, per carità. Uno alla volta, uno alla volta, uno alla volta, per carità. In this part, in fact, he's exaggerating because he has to say that, my God, I am so stressed that so many people are reaching.
Everybody's calling me. Everybody wants my presence and my help. Let's remember that in the times when it was written, barbieri usually take care of many things, as even taking care of your feet. So they actually did lots of things. They didn't just cut your hair. So this area is telling a very is telling the truth in a social context.
Yeah, you're right about this. But he likes to play the primo uomo and saying, oh, I can't stand it
He
anymore.
enjoys it. He loves to be important.
Uno alla volta, per carità. I'm going to support everybody just one by one, please. Figaro son qua, Figaro son qua. You know, Figaro, the Figaro is here, the Figaro is there, the Figaro is here, the Figaro is there.
The Figaro is high, the Figaro is down.
Yeah, Figaro là, Figaro su, Figaro giù, Figaro su, Figaro giù. Pronto, prontissimo, sul come il femmine, sono il factotum della città, della città, della città, della città, della città. Here is what I was telling you, that you really need to have a good diction, very good breath, and being able to pronounce. It sounds easy, but sometimes it is not. Pronto, prontissimo, sono come il femmine, sono il factotum della città, della città, della città, della città, della città. Because as you notice, it is not playing della città, della città, it is not della città, della città, della città, della città, della città, della città, della città. So you have to play with that, so that people, at this point, people are already crazy about the Figaro, you know, della città, and people are just waiting for him to finish. Because it is very well written. You know, it is so very enthusiastic that people at this point are so in love with Figaro. Della città. And then it comes another phrase where you have to speed up. Ah, bravo Figaro, bravo bravissimo. Ah, bravo Figaro, bravo bravissimo. A te fortuna, a te fortuna, a te fortuna non mancherà. Sono il fortuna. Ah, here there comes usually this part is usually changed. So they skip almost for the last part, but since it is in the score, it is complete. Sono il factotum della città, sono il factotum della città, della città, della città, della città. And usually when you say della, it happens as in una voce poco fa. You will never hear a baritone sing it as it is in the end. At the end, they will do whatever they want. Because if they do it like it is going della città, you will never hear della città. That never happens, never. So they usually go for della città, something like that. So they add a note where it is not written. They do not do where it is written. And they don't keep it for as long as it is written. So any resemblance to a tenor or a soprano is just a coincidence. But it was the time for Figaro to shine, right? So we can excuse him.
Yeah, we
And
can.
and you know what I like it in here is sono el factotum de la città. Personally, I like that passage of the whole aria. Sono el factotum de la città de la. And I usually never do città. Usually never do that. I also think it is too much.
Oh, don't lie to us. Don't lie to us.
I swear I don't like to do that. But this is where we have about Mr. Figaro. This time we haven't shared with you a lot of the words or the context in the whole opera, because as I was telling you before, it is a comedia de los enredos. So many things are happening. It is so hard to explain. In fact, many people's recommendation is that when you're starting or you want to be interested in attending an opera, many people advise you to start with Il Barbiere di Sevilla for this reason. What do you think? Would you suggest people to go for Il Barbiere also?
Oh, yes, it is one of my advices to check something by Rossini, but in a specific. I like to talk about Il Barbiere, because you have to pay attention to know exactly who is who and what's happening, but at the same time it is fun. And like we mentioned the last program, um, the entire music, the entire opera is nice to be heard. It is easy to hear the entire opera, not all the music. Being honest, I love opera. I know you love opera, but you have to be more trained if you want to listen Tosca, for example. And that's true, because you start to listen different things. But if you are just approaching to the genre, yeah, is, I think, that one of my favorites.
It certainly is. And when we have Rossini, we can do anything. So
Yeah.
if Katia can sing Il Barbiere, at least a part of it, why can't I sing a part of Don Basilio's aria, which is called La Calunnia un Venticello, which is very funny. I like the text a lot because it is very true. In fact, I'm not sure how you say calumnia in English. How do you say calumnia in English, you know?
Oh, I don't know, but it is a rumor.
But a very bad rumor.
Yes, a terrible one, because you're spreading something that it's not true at all about a person.
And you are doing with all the wrong reasons in your mind.
Oh, of course, you're doing it with the worst intention from your heart.
You're and this aria, that's what it says. You are slender. That's the translation. I just looked for it. So it's slender. So it sounds horrible. I like more La Calunnia. And as the text, the words in La Calunnia say, you are doing it because you want to destroy the reputation of somebody. So you are doing it with all the wrong reasons in mind. That's when you do La
Yeah.
Calunnia. Of course, if it is for a very low voice, for a bass. But I was sharing with Katia, and as I was sharing with you earlier, sometimes the bass voices find it too high and too fast. This is way too fast for many bass voices. So you see that they are suffering when they reach the high notes. They are almost like being strangled because they cannot reach those high notes, very bright notes, and singing as fast as if he was a baritone. Because this is fast enough for a baritone. I think that Rossini exceeded exceeded his purpose when he wrote it for a bass.
Yeah.
At this point, maybe somebody's thinking, but there are the basso buffo, which means those voices good for this repertory, which of course there are bass voices, right, for this repertory, but there are not many. The basso buffo, there are not many voices. And so many other, let's say, standard bass voices try it, and they usually suffer, which is not fair. Now you will suffer again because you will not hear the right voice singing La Calunia. But since it is very funny, we will try to do it. And if the result is not nice, at least we are going to have fun. Okay? That's the key of it. I am going to play a little of the music in the background because from my perspective, all the sounds that Rossini puts are also these very, to enhance the purpose of this slender, to enhance how we are going to destroy somebody by just spreading a rumor. So this bad person called Don Basilio is what he's about to sing.
It's a person.
When he says La Calunia, sorry, I wanted to say that something there. He starts, you will notice that he will also start slow. He will do some enhancements. He will go fast, then he will go slow again, and playing as it has happened in the two other areas.
Assai gentile, che insensibile sottile, leggermente dolcemente, incomincia sussurrar.
I want to pause the music there because this is what I like the most. This intention here in the piano, but in the orchestra, that and he says in a very nasty tone, piano, piano, terra, terra, sottovoce, sibilando. Va scorrendo, va ronzando, nell'orecchia della gente si introduce destramente, e le teste di cervelli, fa stordire, fa gonfiar. There comes the music again, this very nice motif of dalla bocca fuori uscendo, lo schiamazzo va crescendo, prende forza poco a poco, vola da in loco, sembra il tuono la tempesta che nel sen della foresta va fischiando, brontolando e ti fa d'orror gelar. Alla fin trova che scoppia, si propaga, si raddoppia e produce un'esplosione come un colpo di cannone, come un colpo di cannone, un tremoto, un temporale, un tumulto generale che fa l'aria rimbombar. Un tremoto, un temporale, un tumulto generale che fa l'aria rimbombar. And then comes like a very innocent note, Tan, 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 tan. But don't let Don Basilio fool you. He is a very bad person, as he is about to say, il meschino calunniato, avvilito, calpestato, sotto il pubblico flagello pergan sorte va crepar. E il meschino calunniato, avvilito, calpestato, sotto
cielo per gran sorte va crepar.
You usually hear many basses cut it and go to the end because for them they say it's too much. But there is a repetition here. So goes for
E il meschino calunniato, avvilito, calpestato, sotto il pubblico flagelo per gran sorte va crepar. E il meschino calunniato, avvilito, calpestato, sotto il pubblico flagelo per gran sorte va crepar. Sotto il pubblico flagelo per gran sorte va crepar. Sotto il pubblico flagelo per gran sorte va crepar. Si va crepar, si va crepar, si va crepar.
that's how it is usually ended. Of course, again, if the mezzo or the soprano was a diva, if the baritone was a divo, why shouldn't bass be a divo and do whatever he wants at the end? Thank you very much for having joined us with this very funny, hilarious program. I appreciate that you were with us today. Thank you very much and see you next time.